who kept ghazal alive for, if not 400, 200 years? It was the Tawayafs. But we do not take their names, we do not acknowledge them, simply because of the stigma. What went into creating that art has never been documented because we never documented these women. That's a very relevant start, if I may say, because the closest word that you find to English, that you find to that word of Tawayaf is the courtesan. And Tawayaf is a word which has been largely, if I may say, used in today's times to as a derogatory term for a woman. Which actually, if you go back into history, it surprises me, and Manu has been very articulate in talking about history. But like we all know that history is half of the history, or less than half of the history is documented. A lot of it is oral narratives, which also comes to us. And in all our fairness, we have to take the oral narratives into account. Tawayaf as a word comes from a Urdu word which is called tawaf. Now tawaf, if you go into the meaning of the word, it means going round. Now tawaf could be what you do at a temple, circumvent the temple. Tawaf could be what you do at Kaaba, you go around. So tawaf is actually a very simple word, which means going round. Now, that brings me to the point that if that word was used for a particular section of performers, which essentially probably meant that they were going round during their performance. And hence they probably came to be known as Tawayafs. That is the closest reference that historically I find to the word Tawayaf. And I see no derogatory usage of tawaf, which is used for very spiritual and religious purposes, to be considered derogatory when it comes down to being spoken about a woman.
What do the Indian performing arts owe to the Tawayaf?
Everything. We may not like to say that or acknowledge that. If you Google today, you would find probably 2,000 ghazal singers in Bangalore itself. And ask them who kept ghazal alive for, if not 400, 200 years? It was the Tawayafs. Who else? But we do not take their names. We do not acknowledge them simply because of the stigma. And also one aspect which it's very easy to run down a woman and not give her the acknowledgement that history should give. Because that also brings me to another point, that history is largely written by patriarchy. Women did not write. I am sitting here, you're watching me. If we have a documentation of what a woman is doing as a performer, the documentation is probably half, because it's only the viewer's point of view. What went into creating that art has never been documented because we never documented these women. So that way, their ownership of art is tremendous. Ghazal, Thumri, Dadra, Kathak. You come down south, Bharatnatyam is a modern word, but the dance that existed, that the Devdasis did, also, it all comes from those traditions. And in our point of view, that today Manjari Chaturvedi is a classical dancer, she's a Brahmin, fair-looking, Angrezi speaking, she deserves respect. But a Tawayaf, who was dancing and singing 100 years back, oh my God, don't talk about those women. That is where, we have gone wrong in not giving them their credit for the art they kept alive for centuries. And I'm not even saying 10 years, 20 years, centuries.